It's kind of funny because when I started this business, I actually thought I wasn't going to talk about my work with stroke rehab and brain injury rehab. But ironically, that's what made me so good with dealing. I mean, some of these patients I've treated, they shouldn't have walked away from this car accident or, they weren't, technically supposed to even leave the hospital. So I've always been very good at being honest with I'm never going to tell someone, oh, 100% I can get you better. I'm creating insane results that I could never have anticipated, but I can't promise, I could say I've had 90% success with a million people, but there's still the, couple of 10% that I just can't access. So I think one, the person themselves that's receiving has to feel that this is going to work. When people ask me who I cannot help, it's those who don't think it's going to work. Placebo effect is as much as 40%. So if you don't think it's going to work, it's not going to work. Or like I actually had to tell people, don't send me, people are like, oh, I want to send my dad to you. They'll book their, husband with me. And those are honestly my worst sessions because they are like, I'm forced to be here. Sometimes they're not even the ones paying for it. It's just, they're like, I don't really know what you're doing. And honestly, it's just awkward for everyone. And just a waste of everyone's time. So I feel like safety can be so much more. I think what I do well is I give people the hope that there's potential for healing, and what I found, so neurokinetic therapy, what I love most about it was that it's a pretty quick fix. If you're having pain, maybe 2 to 4 visits at most. That's my average right now. Yeah. So it's a pretty big, it's just crazy. Once you access what the brain is programming, it's so much faster. Because if you haven't touched on the brain, it's just all these habits come into play. So vagus nerve work, what I struggled with when I started was it can take a little longer, but I'm very good on like, even if you see me virtually, I give people homework to work on. So it's really up to you. Like how consistent are you going to be? Like even on myself, this stuff has been powerful, but I do feel I can kind of know when I'm slipping back into old survival mode, but then I'm not being as good about the exercises or, when my stressors are increased, then I need to increase my exercises as well. So, and that's what's interesting. I think another thing that I do well is I have terrible ADHD, which I just found out in my 40s and in my almost 40s. It doesn't surprise me. It's actually a patient who diagnosed me. And because of that, I mean, it's crazy how much it played into like, this is why it was always hard for me to lose weight is because I'm always looking for different stimuli in my food. Like I get tired of that. So ironically, even for my vagus nerve exercises, I think I have maybe 75 probably ways that you can do your own exercises at home. And so like I'll stick to one. I'm like, oh, this is the best one. And then I'm like, I don't really want to do this one anymore. Or I feel like it's not as effective. So that's what's cool is I actually give people several. So I'm like, listen, you choose, maybe if this is the only one that's going to work for you, that's great, but for me, and I think it depends on the stressor, right? Like a work stress versus family stress, very different, how much stress or what's going on with you at the time. I think one thing I wanted to note too about safety is I actually took off my smartwatch. And this was a very hard thing as a small business owner because my God, you can't be disconnected. But one of the things I was reading was, our nervous system was built for our ancestors. So, and the stresses that they went through was, I don't know, getting out, getting chased by a lion maybe once a month.